Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Ron Hill Gaming. We are back in the game of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. We're going to take that flight we talked about. We're going to take a little visual flight from Lakeland Linder Airport. I've got my Sky Vector chart here in front of us. There's Florida. There's where we're going to start, and there's where we're going to end at Vero Beach. Again, this mimics the flight that they do for the camp here at the Sun and Fun Aviation. Well, there's a college here of aviation and everything. So, but the students or campers, I should say, during the summer that do all the simulated stuff, they get to take a real flight, and this is the flight that they take at the end of their week.
Lakeland Tower, generic November 8764 Echo 8 miles, northwest inbound ILS runway 10 approach.
10 approach, we're on 28, so...
Generic November 876 for Echo Lakeland Tower. Altimeter 29.9, 6 wind 186 at 7. Cleared ILS runway 10 approach.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Move that over. We'll bring that back into view as we need it. And we're going to clear...
ILS runway 10 approach generic, 64 Echo.
There we go. So we are facing the wrong way here. Let's take off our parking brake. Let me look here for pitot heat. Where's my pitot heat? Not that one. Not that one. It's a fuel pump. What's this one? There it is. I thought it was that one. Why didn't I click that one on first? I've got to label my switches here. All right, we are cleared to take off. We've already done our run-up. We've already done everything else that we need to do. Let's try to avoid these lights. And we are on 28. And here we go. We will... Get back over it, get back over it. We will be using the... Oh, we got another crosswind here. We will be using the autopilot. Got my ailerons into the wind here. We're going to go ahead and lift off. There we go. Going to climb to at least 500 feet before we do any turning. Got a pretty good takeoff today, huh?
Cessna 27 Kilo continue for east departure.
Lakeland Tower Cessna November 127 Kilo continue for east departure.
Alright, so we're going to continue, which is to continue in the pattern. So we're going to make our turn to the south. This is a left traffic pattern. Most airports are, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to continue our climb out here. Getting good speed that we have. Cruise speed. Not trimming anything back just yet.
Generic 64 Echo wind 186 at 7. Cleared to land runway 10. Cleared to land runway 10 generic 64 Echo.
Oh, by the way, we're going to cruise at 3,500 feet today. And we're going to make our turn to the east now. Worry about picking up our GPS and all that in a minute. We know we're heading east, so as long as we continue to head east, And if we look here at our GPS, you see the magenta line. We will intercept it at this rate here, which is fine. And let's keep her climbing. Going up to 3,500 feet. You can see the sky is beautifully clear. As we're flying, it is Wednesday afternoon. You'll see this on Thursday when it'll be raining and nasty. So I thought we would take this little flight today. It takes about an hour or so. It's about 80 something nautical miles, if I remember. 80, I can look on Sky Vector. It's 87 nautical miles. Climbing up to 2,000 feet now. Trim the nose up just a little bit. I'm really having to fight it here. I do have the VOR. I'm going to put it on autopilot here shortly. And then still, we're going a little too far south. Let's come back this way. The climb coming. Come on.
Cessna 27 Kilo leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Doesn't change the proof.
Lakeland Tower Cessna, November 127 Kilo frequency change.
Now we have filed a flight plan, so they know where we're expected to be. I'm going to bring back the throttle just a little bit. We're kind of overspeeding that propeller a little bit. 1,000 feet to go. Give us a couple more minutes at our current climb rate. Get on our wings, make sure that everything is doing what it's supposed to. It is. Flying over Central Florida, you'll see that there are a lot of lakes. Oh, we gotta go around. As we climb through.
Going around generic 57 Zulu. Generic 57 Zulu contact Tampa approach on 119.9.
I want to turn this on GPS here. So that when we use our autopilot, it'll go by our GPS that we've already programmed in.
119.9, generic 57 Zulu.
Come on, keep going. We're going to go ahead and turn on our master for the autopilot. You'll see that down there. It says VS. We're losing some altitude here, so I'm not paying attention. Nose up, come on, come on.
Generic 64 Echo contact ground on 121.4.
There's the trim wheel if you're wondering. We're going to a nose up attitude, although it's not doing it for me. Come on. Nose up, trim up, trim up. Oh, it's because the wants to fly straight and level. That's why. Sorry, when I armed the autopilot, I forgot that the vertical speed is an automatic deal. I'm sorry. So we want to climb. Let me turn it on minute. There we go. I will maintain a climb rate of 500 feet per minute. Allow us to get up to that 3,500. I was fighting the autopilot, so we're going to put the trim back where it belongs. Oh, it did it automatically. Okay, good. All right. We're going to get it back on our magenta line. We were supposed to be over there by those lakes, a little bit south of them. We can do Dead Reckoning if we want to fly that way, but we'll be coming up to a like the Babson Park bombing range, Avon Park bombing range. So we don't want to break that. We want to stay right where we are. All right, and with that, we're going to hit our altitude button. We're going to maintain our altitude, and we're going to hit our nav button. And we are going to now turn towards the magenta line on our GPS. I'm going to tune the VOR in. I want nav 1 for the VOR that we want is, hold on, let me zoom in on that a little bit. The Treasure VOR 117.3. 7.3. I'm going to put that in the box. And we want a heading of 728. Looks like about 285. Let me see if Sky Vector agrees with that. Yeah, that's about right. So now we're going to come in here. We're going to go to about 285. 7280, it's somewhere around there. And you'll see as the magenta line approaches, as we approach that, you'll see this line, because we are now flying to the right of our GPS line. So, this is set for GPS. If I put it on nav, sorry guys, if I put it on nav, then it would do primarily the same thing. Say we are to the right of our nav line, and as we continue on this path, it will move closer and closer and closer. I'm going to keep it on GPS though. It'll do the same exact thing. Oops, sorry. I'm using Trek IR to look around the cabin, and if I look in the real world, you guys wonder what the heck I'm looking at. But there's an airport down there, and we can see that that is probably Lake Wales Airport. They do a lot of skydiving, and that looks like Highway 60 just to the north of it there. So, yep, that is Lake Wales Airport. They also do a lot of ultralight flying out of there. So skydiving and ultralight flying is performed there. Now, you'll notice as we get closer to this line, we're going to start to make a turn back to the right to maintain this line. Oh, we are no longer, hold on. Now we will. When I was fooling around with it, I turned the nav off. Now we'll go back to the line. Sorry about that. But that's the thing. You want to realize when something isn't going right. See, we blew through the line, and it didn't start to correct. So I had to look and see why. Now, if I was flying by hand, well, that wouldn't be an issue at all, would it? But since I'm utilizing my equipment today, I need to make sure I know how to use that equipment. And I just demonstrated that I wasn't using the equipment. Sometimes you get some little S turns back and forth as it really tries to establish you on the line. Coming in here, we are 67 miles out from our destination. So as we get a little closer, we will be making radio calls and so on. I can already get things set up. The next thing I'm going to want is we should be fine to just continue flying here. Let me bring this back over. The next thing I'm going to want is the weather, or the ATIS for our airport here. So Vero Beach, the ATIS is 120.575. Dial that into our box here. That should be 575. We're somewhere excuse me. We're somewhere way back over here. Okay, we're just passing Lake Wales. We're somewhere in this range right here. So we're a little far away to do that. But Skyvector.com, you have all your airport charts. For example, let's say I'm not familiar with Vero Beach. I can click on Vero Beach here, click on the airport diagram, and there it is. There's the airport diagram, all the taxiways, parking, and so on and so forth. Taxiways, Delta, Charlie, Alpha, Delta this way, and so on. So if I don't have, like in the sim, we have the incredible luxury of turning on the taxi chevrons there, right? So in this case, I would pull this out, maybe even print it out for my flight so I have it in the real world physically in my hand, and I can turn it and so on and so forth. I can turn it this too, by the way, you can turn it here. I guess it was right side up, wasn't it? There we go. So there's the hangars and so on and so forth. I can make this bigger. Very cool. It is very, very cool. I also have all of the frequencies I'm going to need. I also have, let's go back to there and say, let's say we're going to do an approach. And I think we're coming in on, what do we say, 30? What was our runway? So here's the approach plate for 30, and it tells you where to pick that up and how to negotiate that. Okay. Vero Beach Regional, DME, or distance. What is it? Distance something required. So in other words, that's what I was showing you guys here. Go back into the cockpit. This is our DME, or our distance, right here. Older systems, you have a separate thing called a DME. By the way, we are squawking 1200, which is the visual flight, just kind of the default squawk code. If we were being followed by control or something like that, then they would want to change that to a specific number so that they can watch us all the way across the state here. Let's clear these messages. I don't like things blinking on us here. Set course to 109 degrees. Okay. Notice we are now dead on, and that's not my flying, that's the planes flying. It's a bearing indicator there. Our heading bug. Might as well put it on 109, which is where we're heading now. .109 corresponds to the outbound radial. Bring you back over here. The outbound radial from Lakeland was radial 109 right there, 109 degrees. This radial right here, blue, here's the frequency for it. We can tune in and listen to the dot, dash, dot, dot, you know, the Morse code to make sure we're on the right one, which is LAL. And we're flying out of that. Now, if we change over to this frequency, which is Treasure 117.3, then it's the inbound one. But because we're using the GPS, it's still going by that outbound one, I think. But then we have the inbound, which you see is, if that's 27, 270, 275, 280, 285-ish, right there coming in. We're coming into runway 30, so it's going to be 300. But if you notice, that angle is off just a little bit. So we're not flying that angle. There we go. Sure everything's going good there. Yeah. You can tell when I look at the other monitor. So, okay. So now we are cruising along. We're going to look at our instruments, make sure that our speed is good, our artificial horizon is good. We're cruising at 3,500 feet, right where we want to be, on track with the GPS. We're not climbing or descending. We are on the right heading. Our turn coordinator is nice and level. Fuel flow is a little high. Let's go ahead and trim this back a little bit. We're going to bring back our mixture. And what we're looking for is an EGT rise. And you'll see the fuel flow will go down. We're looking for a peak EGT, or exhaust gas temperature. And I'm getting my fuel flow into the green now. Oh, we're starting to stumble a bit. That's right where we're going to cruise. We have plenty of fuel, a little bit less than half in each tank to go just a little while more. Vacuum's in the green, amps are high, or normal high. Pressure is in the green, temperature is in the green, and RPMs are in the green, around 2,500 RPMs. Everything looks good. We will start preparing the plane for landing. Let's go ahead and listen to that ATIS that 120.575, and you see that's in our standby.
Vero Beach Airport information, Yankee 2100 Zulu.
Yankee.
Wind 120 at Niner. Visibility 10. Sky condition, few clouds at 1,800 feet, few clouds at 4,900 feet. Temperature 24. 2.10. Altimeter 29.908. Visual runway 30 right and visual runway 30 left in use. Landing and departing runway 12 left and runway 12 right. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have Yankee.
All right.
Vero Beach Airport information, Yankee.
All right, we have Yankee, and we are going to tune into the tower now, which should be 126.3. We have to do it this way so we're not actually talking to anybody. Hello? There we go. We're going to try to find them on here. They're still not close enough. So we will wait. Okay, there's a large lake with little islands in it. So if I go to my chart again, and I look for a big lake with islands in it, like there. So there should be one large island on the south side of the lake, and then two smaller islands with a medium-sized island, okay? So we're gonna look. Large island, two small, okay, that's gotta be it. So we are passing by a little bit around halfway, I'd say. So we are on course. We don't want to rely 100% on our GPS because who knows, it's technology, something bad could happen. So I'm going to utilize landmarks along the way. I am scanning. I know you guys can't see me, what my eyes are looking at, but I am scanning out the window for traffic because we're not in communication with anybody right now. I could tune into Miami Center and get flight following, but that's not necessarily, needed at this point. This is Florida. Not a lot to look at up here. Pretty flat. We're coming near those clouds that they said were at 18 and 4,000. Well, obviously these are the 4,000 ones. We are still clear of these clouds. We are following visual flight rules, so we cannot fly into the clouds or above them to the point where we can no longer see the ground. As long as we can see the ground through the clouds, we're okay. But I have to maintain a distance above them of 500 feet. But if there's no breaks in the clouds, we've got to come down, find a hole, and come on down through and keep an eye on the ground. Speaking of keeping an eye on the ground, you should always be keeping an eye on potential landing spot if in the case of an emergency. And I keep looking for roadways or flat fields, like that roadway right there through that middle window. That might be something we could aim for if we had a problem. Getting out ahead of us, we just wouldn't want to go to the water, but that lighter area of grass there looks like it might be a equivalent of a grass runway. It's not a grass runway, but it's, could be the equivalent of it. Although there is a grass runway somewhere over here. It's on our chart. That actually might be I didn't mean for us to pick that, but that might actually be the grass runway. There's one on the chart. River Ranch Resort is at the mouth of a river, right? Notice I don't go in and out of the plane a lot. I did it to show you what we have the capability of looking at. You don't fly from outside your plane. So if you're doing a lot of in and out, you want to see what the outside of your plane looks like, well then you're more of an RC pilot, right? You want to be on the outside. I want to do as much simulation of being a real pilot, piloting my Cessna 172 to Vero Beach. Okay? Lake Marion is not the lake that we're flying over now. It's actually Lake Kissimmee. Big Lake Kissimmee here. That lake over there, that's Lake Miriam. excuse me, not Miriam, Marion, M-A-R-I-A-N, Marion. To our right is that restricted area when they're doing active bombing runs and stuff. It's a bombing range. There is a small airfield south of us that's a MacDill Air Force Base auxiliary field. It's a military operations area, an MOA. Now again, I am not a real world pilot, but I have studied to be a real world pilot. I have completed my written test as well as taken obviously real world instruction in the planes. I was going for a light sport aircraft, so we were in some little German built underwing with a low wing, I should say, planes with a big canopy on top. Almost looked like a little fighter jet, you know. And I've taken my lessons in those, but due to finances and having a son, and my wife decided that, you know, I guess she wanted to have me around for a little while. She said it was too dangerous. She also has had quite a few. She was very close to her private pilot, but thought that the danger was too high. I don't think the danger is too high. I do think it's very expensive. It's a few $100s an hour with an instructor and the fuel and everything. So we're getting buffeted by the wind here a little bit, a little turbulence. So, you know, you have to get your priorities straight. And for the cost of 1 hour of instruction and renting the plane and everything, I have my entire setup that I have in front of me. So I can do hours and hours and hours of simulated flight. It's not exactly the same, but I had many hundreds and hundreds of hours of simulator time prior to taking my lessons. My instructor, his name was Randy Wildman in Lakeland. Actually, I believe he was from Plant City. But anyway, he was kind of impressed with what I knew, and I was flying the plane in my first lesson. We were doing maneuvers in my very first lesson, and I landed it with his assistant. You know, he's there on the pedals and stuff, but I landed it on my second one, so he was real pleased with that. We could have knocked out all of the required maneuvers, and I could have soloed probably in another couple of hours, a few hours, and then it would have been just getting enough hours for my cross country and that, which is like what we're doing here. This would be like a good cross country flight for a licensing exam. You know, you'd be by yourself, solo cross country. All right, so I'm going to extend my map over here to my left. All right, we're going by the lake there. Oh, there's a place to land a seaplane over there. So we've made it past Lake Marion, excuse me, Marion. I keep calling her Miriam for some reason. And we should be close enough to talk to the tower here. I'm going to double check that we're still on Yankee. Oh. Hold on a second. Seventh. Oh, I bumped it, I guess. 120. 575.
Vero Beach Airport information, Yankee 2100 Zulu. Wind 120 at Niner. Visibility 10.
Now it's
Sky
Zulu,
conditions,
so
few clouds at
good thing I
1,800
double
feet,
checked it.
few clouds at 4,900 feet. Temperature 24. Dew point 10. Altimeter 29.908. Visual runway tree 0 right and visual runway tree 0 left in use. Landing and departing runway 12 left and runway 12 right. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have Yankee.
Oh, I thought you said Zulu. Oh, Zulu time. Zulu time. All right, so we are looking for. Really? It's still not there? Let's go. Redo our list here. Flying S Ranch. I'm going over here. I'm gonna look at Blair's Blanket Bay. Okay, so we're right over Blanket Bay. Bellsmere is a private. Yeah, those 5, 6, and 7, they're behind us. Hey, there's Lake Marion. Mills Ranch South just came into field. Mills Ranch South. Fly-in ranches. Flying S Ranch. New Hibiscus. Sebastian Municipal. Yeah, we're not getting any of those yet. Still a ways to go. And as I look, we'll be flying directly over a pretty big, which is going to be that. We're going to fly directly over that. And then we should be able to pick them up. So we'll hold off on that. We still have, what, 26 miles. I'm surprised we're not picking them up yet. 26 miles. When we get about 10 miles out, we'll start dropping our altitude. Oops, sorry. Dropping our altitude. Our way into 30. Just entering the pattern and coming in for a landing. These are a couple of lakes. I'm not seeing one big one on the map. That's gotta be it, right? Are any of those square? Yeah, there's squared off ones are just to the north. Okay, that is what we're after. Of course, there are roadways down there and railroads. They didn't always have GPS. Smear. That's an interesting. It's a little private airport that is on the outer rim of the VOR, as it's depicted on the map. So, getting close. Bellsmere is a private airport just on the other side of that lake in front of us. Due 12 o'clock. Reef FL5 is, I don't know if that's Blanket Bay. Could be Escape Ranch. Not actually listed like that on here. I should just bring that over into this view so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Okay, here's Fellsmere right here. That just popped up on our nearest airport list. We're somewhere right around the word blue, I think, somewhere in here. And cruising to the coast. Because it's winter, the sun is already practically set, and it's only 4:30. 4:36 actual time. So the sun is more to our south, so somewhere over in that glare is the sun. I'm just trying to tune in Blanket Bay. See now Fellsmere is way up there at 3. 1 would be the closest, 7 would be the furthest away. But just changed again on us. That was Scott. Right. I just want to make sure we have plenty of time. We are 18 miles out. So just on the other side of the lake, we'll start descending down. There's no, as long as we're above 700 feet, we're good for a little area that's marked on the map. Yeah, Sky Vector is totally free. I have all the charts, all the approach plates, everything. It's really cool. It's designed primarily for simulators. I wouldn't use Sky Vector to plan your next flight in a real plane because I don't think they're totally up to date like all the Jepson charts and everything. But as far as simulators are concerned, yeah, it'll work great. And it teaches you how to read these charts. Man, when you first open up an aviation chart, if you've never done it before, woo, it is like Chinese. You start to see words, but you're like, oh, man, this is something. But you get the hang of it. Like anything else. Like before I started recording today, I was having trouble finding the frequencies for the VORs for navigation. And then I found one, and then I could find them all. And it hit me what I was doing wrong. I was looking in the wrong place. Weeby Sky Ranch. Sounds like a fun place to go. We're still getting the weather coming in. Escape Ranch. We're getting close. Weeby, Hibiscus, Fly In. There's Hibiscus, New Hibiscus. Indian Hammock. Yeah, it'll be on the list here in just a second. I haven't done this flight in forever, and I think you have to clear this lake, square lake over there. Yeah, you think that's man-made? Still an area where there could have been phosphate mining and things like that. We have some very, we'll call them regular shaped lakes that are perfect circles or triangles or whatever in the phosphate area. We are 12 miles out. I know that it's going to show up here pretty soon. Come on.
Vero Beach Tower Sky Flight 769er 13 miles southeast inbound
4 DME runway, 30 left approach. Sky flight 769 Vero Beach Tower. Altimeter 29.9.
Well, we're on Vero Beach Tower.
At 7. Cleared the or DME runway, 30 left approach.
Well, let's go back. Hold on. There it is. Fix.
Cleared the or DME runway, 30 left approach. Sky flight 769er.
Fix. 133.15. 133. 150. Let's go away. Start using some altitude here as well. 33150 request full stop.
Vero Beach Tower Cessna November 127 Kilo is 15 miles west 3,500 feet with Yankee to land.
Cessna November 127 Kilo Vero Beach Tower. Altimeter 29.98, wind 107 at 7. Fly left downwind runway 30 left.
Enter left traffic runway 30 left Cessna 27 Kilo.
Alright, so I want my altitude. We're going to start at our coming down here. Go. And we're looking for an airport. Come on. Give me my vertical speed. There we go. Looking for an airport somewhere directly in front of us. Entering a left downwind for 30. Well, it's coming back exactly the opposite way, which is fine. But we will need to be to the right of the airport, making left turns, downwind, crosswind. So are we at 10 miles? Oh, we're at 6 miles. Okay, let's see. Actually see it's got to be directly in front of us there. I'm going to point to where, somewhere right in here. Try to get rid of some of our speed as well. We're now 5 miles out, so yeah. At an altitude should be about 12 to 1500, so we'll go down to 1500. Feet back on the pedals here. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is spot the runway. I see it now. I see it now. It's right there. Okay. So we're doing good. We are doing good. Be a little bit more quiet now as I'm trying to concentrate. By the way, I do have control back of the plane for heading and direction. Yeah, this is going to be perfect. When we're beam the numbers on the downwind, we'll probably get our final clearance to land. We got pattern entry instructions into traffic, yeah, but as we fly by, we want to make sure that we're on the right runway, looking for 30 and so on. We are going to get rid of descent there momentarily. Hold it right here. One hand fly it from here. Autopilot is off. Get comfortable here. Darn office chair wants to recline all the time. Need to get a new gaming chair. Need to maintain our altitude here. We don't want to sink just yet. Come on, get up there a little bit. We're going to go to full. You know, I didn't have my landing lights on. I should have that whole time. We were under 10,000 feet, so my lights are on now. It's a nice airport. It's Atlantic Ocean straight out there. Going to fuel pump back on. We don't want to be right on top of the runway as we fly downwind. We're entering our downwind now. The lower we get, the more we'll be some big planes down there, affected by the wind. Planes just sitting. All right. We are now downwind. Hey Chimpy, you want to say hello?
Hi.
Chimpy's been riding behind us the whole time. Just been quiet. We're flying.
No, I haven't.
Alright. We're gonna go out. We're gonna go out around the water here.
Cessna 27 Kilo, follow the generic on the runway. Wind 107 at 7. Clear to land runway 30 left.
Clear to land runway 30 left Cessna 27 Kilo.
Following someone on the runway? They already landed? Clear to land. Alright, let's start breaking it down. Okay, there's our 45 degrees. We're gonna flying her downhill here. Don't climb. Get rid of some more speed, put in our first set of flaps. Did they say right or left? So this is, there's a little runway 30 right. Alright, undercarriage, fuel pump. We don't have to worry about gear. Right, this is too steep, too high, but those PAPI lights, one of them should be red. Up there. I don't want to go too long. I don't want to slam into the ground either. Okay, very good. There we go. We are safely on the ground, ladies and gentlemen.
Cessna 27 Kilo, exit runway when able.
I'm trying. There it is. There it is.
Cessna
All right.
27 Kilo, contact ground on 127.45.
One 2.45.
127.45 Cessna 27 Kilo.
Exit depart.
Vero Beach ground Cessna November 127 Kilo, request taxi to parking.
Cessna November 127 Kilo, taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway Bravo.
Taxiway Bravo 27 Kilo.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway Bravo Cessna 27 Kilo.
They're waiting for us right there. All right, we get on the ground. Any landing you walk away from is a good one, right? Only people who say they're the people who land crappily, but which we just did. Try to get it on the line here a little bit better. Spin it around. He's kind of happy with where we were. There we go. Parking brake is on. Fuel pump off. Window heat off. Landing lights, nav, strobe and beacon can come off. Reduce throttle. Turn off our avionics. Turn off our master and alternator, master battery and alternator. Use the mixture. Continue. And we are cold and dark. Parking brake is set. Mags are off. And there you go. We'll shut our fuel off just to be on the safe side. We set our trim for next time. It's good. Pitch trim is good. All right, we did it. Utilizing charts and maps on skyvector.com. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. We left Lakeland Linder Airport, flew east-southeast across the state of Florida to Vero Beach, and here we are. So we're still around to talk about it. So there's a cross-country flight. Could represent a cross-country solo, although it's 88 miles, nautical miles. I think your solo is something like 50, or it has to be at least 50, I don't remember. But, so maybe that could have counted, right? All right, so if you liked what you saw, please hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment down below, good, bad, or otherwise. We'll get back to you just as soon as we can. And, yeah, make sure that you're checking in on us from time to time. The algorithm doesn't always let you know when we post something new, especially if we change topics. So if we're doing our 5M law enforcement type of stuff, you may see every one of those, and then the minute I do a flight sim, you don't see it. I don't know why it does that, but people have said they haven't seen my other video pop up in their feed yet. So maybe that's why. So yeah, the more likes and subscribes and comments and participation in the channel that we get, the better off your chances of seeing us are as we get the word out. There will be a link in the title, in the description below, for our Discord. I hope this Friday to be able to do a group flight. I'm going to let you know where that's going to be out of. And everybody that has Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 can do the fly-in. And it's going to be for point-to-point fly-in. So we're going to start at one airport and land somewhere else. And we won't rely on live ATC yet. That's coming next week. The reason for that is not everybody will have that or know how to do it, to be honest with you. So if that's the case, I don't want anybody, not wanting to join in. This is not a nut job fly-in, though. I don't want people driving over each other, flying over each other, crashing through each other, that type of. We're trying to keep it clean, keep it real as real as we can, and we could utilize the Discord ATC channel I have set up on our Discord to talk around. All right, so it sounds like fun, I think, and I'd like to have you join us, and we'll be doing that sometime on Friday. I'll be posting exactly when. It'll be earlier rather than later so that we're flying mostly in the daytime, but I want it to end at night so that we do have a night landing somewhere. All right, so until next time, I hope you and your family are well, happy, and everything's going your way. We'll see you next time here at Ron Hill Gaming. Bye-bye, everybody.